Season 1 just flew by, and I am so grateful. Thank you so very much to each and every one of you that have joined the family. And I'm really looking forward to season 2 because we have some amazing guests on the show this season. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you to Miss Claire Thompson, who is in, and we just had this conversation. Family, I had to ask her because I wanted to make sure, I'm pronouncing it correctly. So Claire is actually located, based in a completely different part of the world from me here in Seattle. She is in Cinecittà, Sicily. So without further ado, Claire, why don't you go ahead and give the people a little introduction to yourself, a little bit about Claire.
Hi Dee, thank you so much for doing this. So my name's Claire and I have been in Cinecittà, Sicily since 2020. Prior to that I was in the UK, but that was never quite home. So in 2019 we went travelling, saw the world, realised I didn't want to go back to the UK. And it was as simple as that. A holiday in Sicily, and I was sold. I found a view that I fell in love with, found the land that it was attached to, built a home, built accommodation for family and friends, and I'm slowly re-energising the land, planting trees, growing vegetables, just making sure it's all back to how it should be. I've got 2 olive groves, which we've just finished picking for the season, so that was fabulous. And it's just peace, it's serenity, it's home.
I love that. I love that. So, when we were talking about trying to schedule our podcast today, I was asking you about the difference in the time. So right now for me here in Seattle, it's a little after 10:30, and you are 9 hours ahead of me. So it is 7:30 p.m. for you.
It is 7:30 p.m., yes.
7:30 p.m. And then as far as the weather, what is your weather like right now in Sicily?
So even though it's December, we've had beautiful warm days. So it can be anything from 12 to 19 degrees. Not sure what that is in Fahrenheit. So no, it's beautiful. It's cold in the evenings.
Claire and I actually met through a social media platform, and I was just very intrigued by her and her story and what she has to tell. And so I'm very grateful again to you, Claire, for being here with me on Unapologetically D. We're going to go through a few things, and I want to go ahead and start out with what I've titled as voice and identity. So what would you say that it feels like to truly own your voice?
That's a big question. I think for me, let me tell you my story, and that might help.
Okay.
So not so long ago, I was the woman no longer living the story that I was handed. I chose to step away from that. I was so many things for so many people, and it was exhausting. I was fighting through it all and thinking I could do it all, actually. The whole superwoman thing, we can manage.
Yep.
But in that, I forgot who I was. I didn't know my own identity anymore, and I certainly lost my voice. I couldn't speak up for myself. I could speak up for others. That was easy. But speaking up for myself just wasn't something that happened. And there was just a sudden shift. There was no noise. There was no drama. Just a simple, I'm done. And I literally walked away from everything. I walked away from my home. I walked away from family, everything, because I had to start again. Thankfully, something unexpected happened, and a woman stepped forward and she saw me. She really, really saw me. And she basically took my hand and helped me heal. And part of that process was me finding my voice again, finally deciding who I was, what I wanted, where I wanted to go in life. And that moment changed everything. Because after all the rushing around, after all the noise and the chaos and the stress, I was suddenly slowing down. I was walking barefoot, I listened to my breath. I wrote my words down. And I softened enough to feel hope again.
I love that. Oh, that's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. And I am a true believer in there's a reason that everything that you experience in your life, that it's happening. So the fact that you mentioned that, you met the lady that you met and that she held your hand and helped you through your healing journey, which again is something that I say a healing journey is going to be yours, and there is no playbook for it, and there is no timeline. There's no right or wrong way to do it. And I just love that you have somebody that was there with you to help you get down that path and recognize that, it's time for me to heal. But it sounds like you started taking those steps and pulled back from things prior to, or did you meet her after you made your decision?
No, so that was back in 2012.
Okay.
So it's been a long journey.
Okay.
It's been a long journey. It took a long time. But the one thing I would say is doing it alone is not an option.
Right, right.
You have to have that support around you. You have to have somebody walking alongside you.
I
It's not a
agree.
journey. It's not a journey to take alone. It's
Right, right.
impossible. Absolutely
Mm-hmm,
impossible.
mm-hmm,
But because of her, that's why I do what I do. You know, I help women meet themselves where they are, not to fix,
mm-hmm.
but just to claim back who they are, their true self, because their story's worthy.
Yes, it is.
It doesn't matter what that story is, whether it's loud, whether it's quiet, whether it's tender. It doesn't matter. It's
Mm-hmm,
about trusting your voice,
mm-hmm,
and your whole life will shift.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You know, and that's basically the heart of what I do now.
Yes.
I walk beside those women as they step forward
Mm-hmm.
and finally find the story that fits them. And it's
Yeah,
nobody else's story.
right. It is
It's
not.
their story to own.
Yes, yes. And every single one of these women are different. And, the fact that you are able to, like you said, help meet them where they are, right?
Yeah.
And help them along with their journey.
Yeah.
You are giving back a thousandfold from what you experienced because now you're able to do it for so many different women. And I have to believe that I don't know for myself because I'm a very positive individual and I like to
Hmm.
spread positivity around. And I feel like it catches like wildfire. Like when you
Hmm.
are doing that and these people that you're helping, these women that you are helping are experiencing that positivity and that joy and that healing. I mean, it kind of just radiates from them, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And you know, you start with one woman, and I I think my whole purpose is to go through life and heal the world. I know that
Mhm.
sounds really dramatic, but I'm just doing it one woman at a time.
Yeah.
You know, because they in themselves, when they start their healing journey, they then affect somebody else.
Yes.
You know, there's a lot about at the moment about generational trauma, and
Hmm.
so many women are saying it stops with me.
Yes.
But just in that statement, they're then showing their children, their grandchildren, their friends that it's actually possible, not by necessarily saying anything, but by who they are.
Hmm.
So that voice doesn't have to be a verbal voice.
Right.
You know, that's an action. It's how
Mm.
they live, how they move through life, how they react to situations.
Oh, yes. Hmm.
It's all part of that, and it literally just ripples out.
Oh, yeah. 100%. It is so much more, I think, just about, like you said, being who you are and
Hmm.
just living your life
Yeah.
than trying to provide this perfect script of what you
Hmm.
should or shouldn't do, right? Because
Yeah.
again, there is no playbook for it, right? And it's
No, there's
your
not.
own story. Anytime that I talk about it's your story, I always say capital YOURS. It's yours, right? It's nobody else's story and it's your journey. Now, like you said, you can't do it alone. So if there are people there to support you and lift you up 100%, they can be a part of your story, but it is
Absolutely.
your story. Sure. So we talk about meeting people, meeting these women where they are. How do you encourage them to truly be the author of their own life, of their own story?
I think the first thing we always do is for them to literally strip back the layers,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because they've had all these, you're not good enough, be quiet, sit in
Yeah.
the corner, you know,
Mm-hmm.
just shh. Um, their voice isn't important anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So to start with, it's about stripping all that back. Who are they underneath all of those layers?
Yeah.
Because if you ask a woman who she is, she'll start to tell you she's maybe a wife, a mother, a partner, an employee, all
Yeah.
of those labels and things that we attach to ourselves
Mm-hmm.
or others attach to us.
Yes. Yes.
But when you actually start talking to them and finding out all of that stuff underneath, you
Mm-hmm.
know, their courage, their passions for what they do or what they would like to do, their values,
Mm-hmm.
their values are really so important. Their
Mm-hmm.
boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
It's about finding what all of those are so that you can then start to rebuild them. I shouldn't say it that way really, because it's them rebuilding them, but
Yes.
it's giving them a base and a platform
Yes. Yes.
to actually
Exactly.
begin from. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then at that point, you can see them literally blossom. You
Yeah.
can see them start to go, oh, actually, I like doing this. Is what makes me. This is what brings me joy. This is what makes me
Mm-hmm.
happy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the story begins. But it's
Yes.
about doing it in small steps,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because I never take people backwards, because that's not important. Yes, they may have had trauma, they may have had bad experiences, but going back and reliving those isn't moving them forward. It's
Oh.
acknowledging, it's accepting,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
helping them do that. But once the acceptance is there, it's
Mm-hmm.
about moving forward.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know,
I
people
totally
come with
get
a lot
that.
of grief,
Mm-hmm.
they come with a lot of pain, but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean to say they have to keep it.
Mm-hmm.
They
Mm-hmm.
are allowed to put it on one side
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and begin again. That's okay.
Yeah. So would you consider that tucking it away, not necessarily forgetting it or compartmentalizing it,
Hmm.
which I feel this is just me speaking from my own experience and maybe some of the interactions that I've had with other women. It's difficult sometimes to compartmentalize. I feel like with my own self, and my thoughts, because I'm moving like a million miles a minute. Sometimes
Hmm.
it's hard for me to take certain things and like just put them into a box. What I have done as a defense in the past, like as a protection, is I have taken past traumas or experiences that I didn't really like very much and almost just buried them and
Hmm.
almost just completely wiped them away from my memory. They're still there, right? But it's almost like trying to forget them. So I like what you are saying, rather than going back and really focusing or trying to work through those traumas,
Hmm.
recognizing them, accepting them, taking them and putting them in a different space so that you
Yeah.
can then rebuild yourself and really know
Yeah.
who you are.
I, I may have made that sound quite easy. It's not. It's
No.
a really difficult process.
Yeah.
But what I do find is that when women come to me, they're already on the edge of that. I need to change.
Hmm.
They're already knowing that the process has to begin.
Yeah.
So it's a lot easier for them to then go, do you know what?
Hmm.
I'm okay with this.
Hmm.
You know, you still have to really put the effort in and put the work in,
Right.
but it's not re-traumatizing, if that
Hmm.
makes
Hmm.
sense. And every woman's story is worthy to be
Yeah.
told.
Yes.
It doesn't matter whether you're just telling it to yourself, whether it's family, friends understanding who you are,
Hmm.
or it could be bigger than that. It could be that you go out and then you inspire others. You may do talks, you may write a book. There's a whole world out there,
Yes.
but it starts with one single decision, and
Hmm.
that's I need to change.
Yes. Yes. That is so true. I think that carries true in a lot of different things. It's recognizing that a change needs to take place. Now, whether or
Mhm,
not that is, I need to begin my healing journey, or I need to walk a little bit more each day because I want
mhm,
to feel healthier, or I need to drink more water, or whatever that might be. The
mhm.
first step is recognizing that that is something that you want to do and need to do.
Absolutely.
Because, and I've also noticed that just because you need to do something does not mean that you are going to necessarily want to do it. So that could
Yeah.
also be something that, can be a little bit of a challenge, even in the
Yeah.
beginning of a healing journey, is because, when you do go through a healing journey, there's going to be some downtimes. There's going to be some times it's not going, like you said, it's not an easy process to do certain things, right?
No, it's not. But what I try and explain to people is if you when you go through life, you go through people say, "Oh, I've come full circle."
Mm,
Full circle's bringing you back to the same place every time. And if it's bringing you back to the same place every time, you're going to start repeating patterns. You're going to start attracting the same sort of people. You're going to behave in the same way because you've not done the learning, you've not done the healing. Whereas once you start your healing journey, you will go up, you will
mm,
learn, you will, feel the excitement and the forward movement, but you will always come back down. But you're
mhm,
not coming back down to the same place. You've taken a step forward. So I always describe it as a spiral.
mhm,
So you're starting and then you're going up and you're coming down and you'll learn something new, but you've gone
mhm,
forward because you've now learnt not to repeat that particular pattern or do that
mhm,
certain thing or attract that sort of person. So
mhm.
it's a continual spiral that's moving. So it's not about coming full circle. We never want to come full circle because that means you
Okay.
haven't moved.
Okay. Okay. You know what? That is the first time that I have heard it explained that way, but it
Mm,
makes complete sense to me. It's
mm,
kind of like, what is the saying? People say, I've done a 180. Is that the right way? So,
mm,
or I've done a
mm,
180. So you're like turning and going the opposite direction from where you were going. I mean,
mm,
I guess if you were going backwards and you do a 180 and you start moving forwards, that's a positive way to look at it.
mm.
But coming full circle, yes, you do end right back up in the same place that you started.
Every
So,
single time. Yeah.
so you are taking steps forward,
Mm-hmm.
taking steps forward, one step at a time, right?
Yeah.
That's another thing that I always have tried to tell myself is that it's so super important to give yourself grace and to
Mm.
realize that it's a journey and it doesn't happen overnight.
No,
Like
it doesn't.
it doesn't happen. I mean, you mentioned back in
Whilst
2012,
I have done
right?
a massive amount of healing and I am not the person I was back then,
Right.
I'm still learning. And
Hmm.
every person I interact with in work or in life,
Hmm.
they're taking me one more step forward
Yes. Yes.
because your people around you change.
Hmm.
As you change, you have to let people go.
Yeah.
And that's really difficult and it can be painful.
Hmm.
Some are very easy to step away from.
Yes.
But you find new people that you interact with.
Hmm.
I always say that I like to think of it as a dance. So you meet on the dance floor
Hmm.
and you kind of move together and you interact, whether
Yes.
that's with one or with many.
Hmm.
But at some point, somebody may choose to leave the dance floor.
Yes. And that's
And
true.
it is. And if it's not you that's leaving the dance floor, that can be quite a tough time.
Uh-huh.
But at some point, you may go, do you know what? I need to dance to another tune. I need
Yes.
another partner. I need to do it differently.
Hmm.
So
Yep.
for me, it's all about dancing with your own life
Hmm.
and that connection with other people.
Hmm. Yes.
It's really an important part of the healing process,
It
and it's fun
is.
too.
It's such an important part. I really feel like you need to have people in your life like this. I don't
Hmm.
feel as though we were made to be on this earth to walk in our lives by ourselves without other
Yeah.
people for us to interact with.
Mm.
You said that you were still in your journey. I feel like I am continuously on my healing journey as well, and I've
Hmm.
always considered myself a sponge. And I like to put myself around people that
Hmm.
are like-minded, but
Hmm.
I also like to be in a room of individuals that know things that I don't know because I
Yeah.
want to continue learning. One of the
Mm.
things that, like I said it earlier, is I always try to be stay as positive as possible. So if I can have that in my life, other people that are as positive, just like how I am. I mean, I know that we all have days that are not the best, right? Let's just be honest. However, if you can have people around you that are a part of your crew, I mean, I absolutely love it. I bounce ideas off of these different people, and same. And I feel like we kind of sharpen each other and make each other shine a little bit more, right?
Absolutely.
So,
And as our own story evolves, so does the circle.
yes.
It has to.
It does.
It has to. But you know, this should also be seen as something fun. This is joyous. This is walking with grace.
Yes.
It's not some serious thing that you've got to get up every day, and it's hard to do this and it's hard to do that, and you're learning this and you learn. This should be a fun process. And if it's not a fun process that you're enjoying, you're not healing.
Yes.
You
That's
have to
true.
follow the things that you love.
Yeah.
And that's difficult because you will get people saying you shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be walking away from that because it's safe.
Yes.
Safe's not always where you want to be.
That is so
Sometimes
true.
you have to step out of that and walk a bit of a dangerous line.
Yes, you do. You have to take chances.
It's an adventure.
It is an adventure. And I love the fact that you said it's not just this, like, woe is me, bad thing. It is fun because when you start to see and learn new things about yourself as you're going through your healing journey, I mean, what's better than finding out, oh my gosh, yes, I love doing that. And when I do that, I feel so good. And then you meet other people. Like, one of the things that's like a huge part of my life is fitness. I am at the gym all of the time. And it's something that has become a part of my life. And there are individuals there that I would not know had I had not started. And that is a part of my healing journey, is becoming more healthy. And these individuals, some of them, they just bring such joy into my life. It could be like the smallest tiny little thing that, like I said, I am a sponge. It doesn't matter if it's positive or negative. Unfortunately, I try to figure out how to control that, but I don't really think there's a way. I really feel as though it's a blessing though, because on the flip side, when there's people that are not feeling so great, I can pick up on that. And it kind of is a signal for me to wrap them up and give them a little bit of extra love. Because
I get that, but I think I'm going to disagree a little bit.
Okay.
There is a way to stop that, and it's about your boundaries.
Boundaries.
It's about understanding what your personal values are. So if I use an example of honesty, if somebody crosses that for me, lies, it's very easy for me to go, that I'm done.
Yeah.
There's not a second chance on that one, because it's a value that's really deep inside me. So if you understand what your inner values are, how your life should run, what you expect from people, what you expect from yourself, you're automatically setting up boundaries.
Yes,
so
I do.
That's a sort of ethical side, but you can also do that with your energy. So you can set up energetic boundaries to allow people close.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you, because the boundaries piece of it, like the physical piece of it, I could tell somebody no in 2.2 milliseconds. I don't have it. I used to not be able to, Claire, because I was very much a people pleaser. I very much wanted to make sure that everybody else was okay, not necessarily taking my own feelings into consideration. But I have never known how to effectively set up my energy boundaries. I mean, it's not something that I've ever even looked into. Honestly, it's a little scary, to be quite honest with you, because I was like, I have enough going on over here by myself.
Absolutely. And I think understanding your own energy first is where you start. When you start recognizing other people's energies, it's about ensuring that those two energies don't cross. If that makes sense. So you can't afford to absorb somebody else's energy. You can't afford to feel somebody else's pain. Because it's not yours. And because then you get to a point where you can't control this. So it's about understanding how that can interact, and it's actually not that difficult. It takes a lot of practice, but you can do it.
That is the key. I think it takes a lot of practice. But with pretty much everything else, there's not a lot of things that you can just start and be great at it immediately. There's some people that are blessed with things like that. There's some people that they open their mouth up and the voice that comes out sounds like an angel, right? But I feel like even those individuals feel like they can always improve, right? So practice, keyword practice. You have to practice it.